Good morning, everyone. It's early here. Hold on, sun's not up yet. Come on. There we go. Oh, God. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. I am your Heavenly Father, Kevin Williams. This is the live stream where we chat truth to power. Please join us in the chat room, or if you're watching after this is all done, join us next time. Subscribe to me on youtube.com/KevinlyFather. That's where we do this sort of thing. Hit the little bell icon so that you get alerts. Set it up on your phone so those pop up. If you don't understand what I'm saying, ask your kid. They'll tell you how it works. It is a coffee con in the morning. I'm here on the West Coast in beautiful downtown LA. I'm not in downtown LA. I'm right next to Hollywood. And everyone here has COVID. It's delightful. 1 out of every 142 people in Los Angeles County has COVID right now. That's where we are as a nation, which I believe, and we'll ask the judges to verify this with me, I believe that is close to zero. That is close to zero. Thank you, judges. They're early this morning. They're kind of cranky. Get used to it. I'm kind of cranky, quite frankly. I'm actually not. I'm in a very good mood. I've got my coffee. We'll be spilling a little covfefe today and watching the president. Good morning from Finland. Good morning, Dr. Howard. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Cujo. Marcy, it's early there. What the hell? Marcy's in Hawaii, where it's still, let's see, if it's 7 a.m. here on the West Coast. In Hawaii, it's 1976. So enjoy the bicentennial. Welcome to everyone around the world. I like doing these early broadcasts because our European friends can join us and our friends in Australia can celebrate Boxing Day with us. So let's get going with this here. It looks like usually President Trump comes up later in the hour. That's how they do it with the kids. We'll see what happens. We'll just we'll mosey along here. If you'd like to join us in the chat room, please do. The way to do that is you can't click on that thing over there. That is just an amalgamation of all the chats. So whatever platform you're on, if you're on the YouTube, just chat in the YouTube window. Let me check out all the platforms, make sure we're up and running here. We are. We've got a big audience out there. Good to see everybody. A ton of people watching on Periscope and Twitter. Here comes an echo. There it goes. If you're on Facebook, make a comment on Facebook. That'll all end up going over there. And you can tell where people are because there's a little icon beside them. All those little red arrows over on that side in the chat room, those people are all on YouTube because that is the fastest chat. I say something, and about 3 seconds later, you guys see it, which is a good way, an effective way to chat and go back and forth with this. So there's about a 5 to 10 second delay if you're on YouTube, Twitter, etc. Enough about that. Let's get to the craziness right away. If you're not familiar with Maria Bartiromo, she's just all pro-Trump. There's nothing, and she lives in the same delusional world, and she loves to talk over her guests. So we'll hear a lot of that today. Here we go.
President Trump in his first interview since Election Day 2020.
Hey, Lala in Indiana, and for the love of God, stay inside.
The president is contesting the results because of what he calls massive fraud. The president will tell us where his legal team stands now on his fight for a free and fair election. Plus, the only other race that matters right now, and the woman...
Oh, this is good, because this race does matter. So Kelly Loeffler is going to be on. I got a flyer yesterday. I should have brought it to show it to you guys. I already recycled it. I got a flyer yesterday in my mailbox, and it said, the Loeffler team. And I was like, what is happening? It was for a real estate company. I was just like, guys, I'm sorry, this is not the right time. So I'm just, even if I was in the market for some real estate right now, just the stench of it, you know. If you're looking for a new place to live, call the Hitlers. No, it's not going to just...
at the center of it, Senator Kelly Loeffler is here ahead of the January 5th runoff races.
Am I saying that Kelly Loeffler is a Nazi? No, far worse. I'm just saying that her name right now is not. You don't want to be associated with that. Loeffler. I don't even know. I've heard it said 2 different ways.
In Georgia. Plus, independent analysis from outside legal scholars.
No. We're not going to sit through Ken Starr. We'll jump around if we have to sit through Ken Starr. See, I knew it right away. AM, here's how it works. I call them Hitler because to say the name recognition, you never run into anybody named Hitler anymore. I didn't say she was Hitler. I was saying that's a bad name to have right now. That's what I was saying. Oh, you're just comparing them to Hitler. You're just using the Hitler reference. Oh, AM, your is 2 words. You have to use the little comments. YOU.RE. Why can nobody that's a Trump fan spell your correctly? I can't wait until Biden comes back and we can go back to the days of your. YOU''RE. Here we go.
Ken Starr.
Nazi's a national socialist. That's essential. That's a translation of it.
Whether President Trump has a path to victory. All of that and a lot more as we look ahead right here, right now on Sunday Morning Futures.
I'm not a complete hack. I'm about 93%, Sean, but thank you. Stephen Ray, that's not how you spell it. UR is 2 words. You put them together. You use the apostrophe, but like there, what Lizzie just said with the apostrophe. That's the sky comma. Put them up there.
President Trump.
I'm gonna enjoy the chat room today. You guys are great. Your deal with it. Here's something that's completely wrong and idiotic. Deal with it. Yeah, we dealt with it for 4 years, Stephen. It's over.
Trump will join me momentarily, but first, the January 5th runoff races in Georgia that will not only decide which party controls the Senate, but will also dictate policy for America for years to come. Here's Texas Senator Ted Cruz on this program 2 weeks ago on What's at Stake.
If we have a Chuck Schumer Senate and a Joe Biden presidency, they will pack the U.S. Supreme Court. They will end the filibuster. They will pass.
Balance the Supreme Court. Get rid of the filibuster, which is ridiculous, which 5 years ago the Republicans were all about, by the way. This is all hypocrisy for those of you who haven't been paying attention.
Massive tax increases. They will pass the Green New Deal.
I am not full of it, Crystal. It's early and I haven't had breakfast yet, but I will be.
Destroying millions of jobs. If we...
I can't keep doing the comments thing over and over again here, although as much as we all enjoy it, I have Netsing at 8:30 our time, tennis for you Americans.
We have a Republican Senate, none of that happens. And so it really is.
I don't even know if Kevin daughter's awake yet. I don't care. She'll wake up. She's good.
By the way, if they have a Democratic Senate, they'll add 2 new states to the country.
Vegas in the morning.
to give them, they believe, 4 new Democratic senators.
It's on YouTube. To find it, go to kevinleefather.com/YouTube. It is live.
So if you want to check, hopefully Joe Biden does not prevail at the end of this.
But he already has. The election's over.
Joining me right now is Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler, one of the 2 senators defending the...
I'm not a midwit. I'm a 3/4 wit, Sean.
GOP majority, Senator.
And I love you too. Thank you. That's so sweet. My God, guys. I could spend all morning doing this. I should just skip tennis.
Good morning to you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for having me back.
How?
She's never won a Senate race, by the way. Remember, she was appointed. No one's ever put her into office.
How are you feeling about this upcoming race? Tell us what's at stake.
Well, Maria, we feel great. Look, everything's at stake in this election. The future of our country is on the ballot on January 5th, right here in Georgia.
It is not.
We know what the stakes are. We know that if Chuck Schumer gets his way and says, now we take Georgia, then we change America, they would fundamentally and radically change America for the worse. We are not.
Well, no, the idea is to change it for the better and not fundamentally. You can't fundamentally change this country without 3/4 of the states. That's the only way that you can change the Constitution. So complete nonsense out of Kelly Loeffler to start the morning.
Going to let that happen. We are the firewall to socialism, to stopping socialism in America right here in Georgia, and we're going to do that. But you know, Schumer has his radical change agent in Raphael Warnock in my race. He has espoused radical views from the pulpit. He is someone that attacked our police officers, calling them gangsters, thugs, bullies, and a threat to our children. He would defund the police. He said that we should empty out our prisons. He would turn violent.
He hasn't said that he's going to defund the police. He hasn't said empty out the prisons. He hasn't said either of those things.
Criminals into our streets. And he's also said that you can't serve in the military and serve God. So he would defund the police.
Guys, for those of you in the chat room that are the moderators, don't even worry about getting rid of people. Just enjoy the show. I'm having a good time.
Defund the military and make our communities less safe. So I've been proud to stand with President Trump to keep our communities safe, to stand with men and women of law.
I don't know what keeping the community safe means, but she said it twice.
And to stand our economy back up and to create jobs and opportunity that lifts everyone up. That's what this election's about.
That lift everyone up.
Senator, we're going to be talking with President Trump in a few minutes. And of course, as you know, he is contesting the results of this presidential election because of what he calls massive fraud. How worried are you about fraud in the Georgia runoff races in January?
Bozo?
Well, Maria, we have a very strong field organization. We are going to monitor and verify all the signatures. We are going to be right there and make sure that Georgians can trust this process because we have to have integrity in our elections. And given everything that's on the line January 5th, we're making sure that Georgians are fired up to turn out to vote. Because if we don't vote, we won't win. If we vote, we will win this election and keep America prosperous and secure for generations to come. That's exactly what's on the ballot. And that's what I've seen. Georgians are fired up. I was in South Georgia a few days ago and North Georgia yesterday. They are ready to go. They are going to turn out. And we're excited to welcome President Trump on Saturday.
Yeah, both Biden and Trump are terrible with gaffes in terms of getting their words right. Biden has a stuttering issue, had it since child, battled it, got over it. It still occasionally gets words mixed up. Trump is constant. He just makes up his own words and just keeps on rolling. Yes, I make fun of the way people speak. I make fun of left, right, everybody. I'll make puns, and they're usually bad. It's Sunday Pun Day, guys. Go at it. Have at it.
Saturday, right here in Georgia.
Yes, the president planning to come and help campaign for you and David Perdue next weekend. But Staci Abrams says that she is now up to 900,000 mail-in ballots. She is taking credit for delivering Georgia for Biden. She claims she's already registered 900,000 Georgians to vote by mail. Some are accusing her of ballot harvesting, which is legal in some states, but not in Georgia.
That's not ballot harvesting.
How do you prove that, and what is your reaction to an already not...
So, it's so ridiculous. First off, ballot harvesting is delivering more than your own ballot, or some close family, really, in most states you can get away with. Hey, are you done voting, honey? Here, I'll take your ballot in for you, and I'll drop it in the drop box. That's fine. In some states, you can't even do that. You can only do your own, unless it's somebody infirmed, like the elderly or something, and you're doing it for them. No one is ever charged on this in the states where it's legal. Even where it's illegal, if I was to just grab 4 or 5 members of my family and take the ballots in, nobody cares. Ballot harvesting is where you go down the block or you set up a table or something, say, drop your ballots off here. And then you take those ballots. Theoretically, ballot harvesting is fine. They call it ballot harvesting. It's just collecting ballots and dropping them off. Theoretically, it opens up the opportunity for somebody to collect ballots and then just trash them. That's why in some states they insist that, it's going to don't disenfranchise the vote. Oh, the voters, it's so important that the voters, every vote should count. Meantime, right now in court in Wisconsin, the Trump party is trying to throw out every single vote of every single Wisconsinite. Every single vote. But you can't Don't you dare go to your neighbor's house. I know he's a little bit sick and he shouldn't be outside, but you take that ballot in and we will put you in jail for 5 years.
900,000 mail-in ballots.
But she hasn't harvested any ballots in Atlanta. Staci Abrams has just had people sign up. All she's saying is 900,000 Democrats have signed up. Crystal, you're done because you're just spouting stuff off without any evidence. One warning, Crystal, and then I'll get rid of you here. But if you want to have a substantive discussion, we welcome it. Please let us know facts and figures. Send us links. But otherwise, you're not adding anything to discussion. And the fact that you're yelling doesn't help. I can yell too, but I don't want to wake up my daughter, quite frankly.
On the docket, according to Staci Abrams.
No. Here's the beautiful thing, AM, and you fact check me on this. Please go read it yourself. In the petition in Wisconsin, and you're absolutely right, Rudy was saying, oh, we've got all these absentee ballots. All the absentee ballots, and they don't have any applications. You got to have an application for every absentee ballot in Wisconsin, right? And he was saying there were hundreds of thousands of absentee ballots. There's no mention of that whatsoever in the petition. That's the lawsuit. There's no evidence. All they're saying in Wisconsin was the Elections Commission put out 200 extra drop boxes, okay? And they're saying that's illegal because the legislature didn't specify the amount of drop boxes. So they're saying that anything dropped in a drop box has to be separated from the votes because those votes are illegal. Even if you were a U.S. citizen who was registered to vote and you filled the ballot out, if you put it in one of those drop boxes, immediately illegal and you're a fraud. This is seriously what they're saying in the lawsuit. And if those ballots can't be separated, which they can't, they're all no window. The envelopes get separated from the ballots before they're counted because we have a secret vote in America. That's the way a free democracy works. Those are separated. And what the Trump campaign is saying, because we can't separate them now from all the drop box ballots from everything else. Oh, by the way, the regular drop boxes, those are fine. The 200 that were added for the election, those are all illegal. And because of that, they want to throw out all the absentee ballots in Wisconsin. And if we can't figure out how to do that, we need to get rid of all ballots in Wisconsin. We need to throw out the entire election. All of it. That's what they're saying. Don't believe me. I don't want anyone to believe me when I talk here. Until you trust me, go look at the lawsuit yourself. Look up Wisconsin petition Trump campaign. You'll find it. And I've got it here as well. I can look that up as well. Brian, the Democrats, if you've got evidence of them being crooks, let me know. But Ryan, you're right. We do have to wake up. It's 7 a.m. here.
They're not Staci Abrams ballots, and Georgia is going to turn out for this because they...
Oh my God, a super chat. Thank you, Yoshi. Thank you very much. A super chat is in the YouTube, and you click on the bottom. There's a little dollar sign, and then it comes up, and then I get money. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. Thank you, Yoshi.
They do not want a socialist America. They know everything.
Hey, if you want to chip in, there's several ways to do it. You can do it with the super chat. You can send me a PayPal, Venmo. You can keep the broadcast going by going to kevinleefather.com, become a patron, and get this every month. And then you get your name and your credits eventually. And we'll see the credits at the end if we've got time. I'm just going here. We're never going to get to the end of this, guys. We'll skip ahead. As soon as there's a commercial, we'll jump over Ken Starr. We'll get to Trump.
That is at stake, and that's exactly what the president has fought for the last 4 years. And the president himself has encouraged Georgians to get out and vote for David Perdue.
That's an excellent point. The Republicans this year, actually the last few years, remember it was the caravans? We're all going to die in 2018 because of the caravans. The House flipped, and I'm still around. This time, it was if Biden wins, the stock market's going to crash. Record stock. We hit 30,000. That's a sacred number, by the way. It didn't happen. The stock market is just fine. Remember, Antifa's going to come and burn the suburbs? Hold on, I'm in the suburbs. And yeah, it's just, they were right about that one. The house next door to me is on fire right now. So, great job, President Trump. It's all fear tactics. It's all nonsense. We cannot become a fully socialized country. It cannot happen. That's not the way this country's set up. Again, 3/4 of the states are the only thing that can change this country in a fundamental way.
and myself, because we are standing between America's future and socialism. We are going to stop it right here. And I need all Georgians, I need all Americans to get involved, to visit kellyforsenate.com, to chip in, to get involved, to volunteer, because we are going to hold the line right here in Georgia.
Oh, hey, Dr. Howard sent me $2 in the super chat. Shout out to Dr. Howard. I don't want to shout too loudly. And it's a pear that's blushing. So also good.
We are not going to give up the fight right now.
All right, well, let me ask you about what's taken place so far in terms of affecting this vote. We heard from Andrew Yang, who said, my wife and I are moving to Georgia. We want to help the Democrats in the runoff race. Tom Friedman from the New York Times encouraging people to move to Georgia. And then there's all this money coming in. Senator, what can you tell us about these major donors for, they include Soros-funded Democratic PAC, which gave $1.5 million and $6.23 million from Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg. 80% of the donations to Ossoff and Warnock are from out-of-state donors in this first election cycle. What's the impact on the race?
Wow. Can you believe what's happening here? People of Georgia, wake up right now. You have been warned. Tons of outside money is coming into your state, and the last thing you want is your economy to be pumped up by millions and millions of dollars coming. Can you imagine? If you're just minding your own business and suddenly there's a whole bunch more money in your state? Oh, the horror.
Well, I'm so proud that David Perdue and I are raising funds right here in the state, but there is a lot of dark.
And also a ton of money from outside the state. Yeah, everyone's raising money from inside the state and also from outside the state. This is how it works. This is for the balance of the Senate, which controls the country. So yeah, money's coming from everywhere. But stop complaining about how much money is being spent on this. It's a good thing for Georgia.
Liberal.
Here's why. Somebody buys some advertising on a television station. We need $1 million worth of ads. Well, that television station runs those ads, and that money goes to the people who own or work at the television station. They go out into the community and they buy a bagel. Now the bagel shop owner has some more money. He can use that money to help pay an employee, etc., etc. Basic economics. It's fine. It's good.
Money flooding our state. They think they can buy Georgia and change America into a radical socialist country. We're not going to let that happen. We have stood strong and
not just socialists, but radical socialists.
And said that we are going to keep Georgia. And that's why it's so important that everyone turns out to vote to defend our country, the future of our country. And that's what President Trump is going to.
Here's the problem. They keep emphasizing you got to turn out to vote because nobody wants to turn out to vote for the Republicans right now. And they're polling so low. Not that the polls mean anything. The trouble is that the Republicans are so upset that Trump lost, even though it was fair and square. They've done 2 recounts now. That no votes, no computer flipping anything. It's all paper ballots. There's evidence of everything. The vote in Georgia was 100% fine. Governor Kemp, a Republican, says so. The Secretary of State, a Republican, says so. Now he's receiving death threats for it because, Republicans. But what's happening is that, anyway, let's just keep going here because we got to catch up to Trump.
Help Georgians do is get out and vote because they know that everything's on the line right now.
Well, there are reports that Black Lives Matter raised $500,000 for Ossoff and Warnock. Tell me about that. And you've said that your opponent is
reports
more.
By the way, we know who's raising money. Apart from the dark money, which is a separate matter at Citizens United, and it's that's something that needs to be changed anyway. But in terms of there are reports that Black Lives, well, look at the FEC filings, and you can tell if they actually raised.
Radical than he is letting on.
Auditing signatures is completely useless. See, what happens is once the votes are together, I'll play the fact check for you. It explains it. Auditing the signatures will mean absolutely nothing because the signatures and the ballots, once you get them, you take the envelope and you go, okay, we're going to take the envelope with the signature. We're going to put them over here. We're going to take the ballot, which has no signature. We're going to put it over there. We're going to count it. That way, nobody can ever get your ballot and say, well, we're taking everybody who voted for Trump and we're charging him $10,000 or we're sending him to jail, which is actually, it's a good idea, according to the judges. That's not the way this country works. Well, this is not communism. We have a free and open democracy. Your vote is secret. So analyzing signatures after the fact, which have already been checked 3 times, by the way, by 2 people the final time. It doesn't make a difference.
Well, my opponent, Raphael Warnock, is running ads with puppies in them to distract from his radical views.
Well, it's his dog.
Welcomed Fidel Castro.
Not a puppy, by the way. Just a fact checker on that one. It's not a puppy. Dog's got to be, I'm guessing, 7 to 9 years old. Could be 2. I have no idea. It's a cute dog.
Into his church, a murderous dictator, a Marxist. I mean, Raphael Warnock has espoused Marxism and socialism. He wants to raise our taxes, to expand the government, to implement the Green New Deal, to socialize our medicine, to open our borders, to defund the police.
Oh my God, can you imagine if we had socialized medicine and everybody didn't have to worry? But I just had to, 2 days ago, I had to refile to get my medical coverage.
This is what he...
And when I did... apparently, the state of California thinks that somebody in my household has died and that somebody's incarcerated. I mean, really, we all feel like we're in prison right now. But so I don't know how to answer that. So I wasn't able to file for medical insurance because I was like, I'm not sure who you think has died, but let me know and I'll be happy to answer.
He's hiding from with his puppies and his pizza and his ads, and I'm making sure.
Oh my God, puppies and pizza. They really know how to turn people against the Democrats. If he wins, it'll be all puppies and pizza. Oh my God. And everybody will get hand jobs.
Sure that Georgians understand that he is radical. He's backed by radical groups that want to defund the police.
Michael, that's ridiculous. I voted 1 time per state, as everyone in this country should. That's my legal right.
And change our country forever. And we won't get it.
AM, Trump can't be inaugurated. AM, by the way, did you go look up the Wisconsin lawsuit? Please go fact check me. And when you're done with Wisconsin, let me know.
A second chance. If we don't stand strong on January 5th and defend our country, defend our Senate majority, we will lose this country and we will not get a second chance.
I don't know what that means. We'll lose this country. Like, good morning, everybody. Opens front door. Hey, has anyone seen America? Yeah, I know. I was here yesterday. I don't know. Wait, I'm sure I put it like it's gonna be in the last place I look for it. Isn't that always the way?
To bring it back from socialism.
Senator, what are you doing specifically to ensure that this race is fair? This is about Georgians choosing who will represent them, but of course there are a lot of questions right now about Georgia as it relates to the presidential race and whether or not...
Now opposing web streams are advertising in my room. Yes, go if you want to get away from this clown, go watch it on another stream. Enjoy.
There was fraud.
Is Trump
there.
on yet? I'm
what
bored
are
of her.
you doing now ahead of the race to ensure that we should trust this vote?
Is anybody watching this live? Is Trump? Let me know when Trump's on.
Well, this is vitally important. We are getting ahead of it. Look, if anyone commits election fraud, that's a felony. We need to hold people accountable where that's happened. And I'm glad we're having a recount.
It's 5 years per count, which is why it very, very seldomly happens.
For the president, we owe him that, and we need to get to the bottom of what's going on. But we have built a robust field organization. We're going to make sure that we're at those places where they're observing the ballot openings, verifying the signatures. We're going to make sure that is done on every single signature, and that where there's fraud, we will hold people accountable. That's a felony. That's what I want to remind people who think they're going to move into our state and take our election, fundamentally change America. We will not stand for it in Georgia.
Morning, Chris.
Now, a lot has been said about the Dominion machines. Dominion machines are used across Georgia.
Yes.
Where is the state's Republican governor, Brian Kemp? And what about the Secretary of State, Raffensperger?
It's probably at home having breakfast.
He has said signature matching is impossible at this point.
Yes, it is.
Well, it certainly is not impossible. We can match signatures, and we absolutely should be verifying them. We should be checking the signatures right now. That's what we're going to do for the January 5th.
Okay, there's 2 different things. Again, they want to match the signatures with the ballots. They can match the signatures with the ones on file on your voter registration card or your DMV card. They can do that, which has already been done. Again, 3 times. But, and then, oh, this, look, they didn't dot their I. Literally, that's what they want to do. It doesn't do any good. What happens when you find a fraudulent signature? Okay, we got to now match it to the ballot. Guess what? The ballot's not there.
Election. Look, the buck stops with the Secretary of State.
Nimrod, I'm not a mauve-cur. Don't say that. That's just mean. Nimrod called me a mauve-cur, guys. Oh, wait, no, he said you're a mauve-cur. So that's possessive, you're. So you're a what about my mauve-cur? Has anyone seen my mauve-cur? It's like my country. I lost it. Where did I put my mauve-cur last night? Goddamn dog took my mauve-cur. Honey, where's the mauve-cur?
He is supposed to...
Seriously, why is it so hard? You can't. It's just 2 words. It's U and R. It's 2 3-letter words. Just, you put them together. See, they get crunched, and then you use the sky comma. It's real. If that should be the voting test right there. Here's your ballot, but before we give that to you, we would like you just to write the word you are, put it together. Conjugate that for us, would you?
To run a trusted, free, fair, transparent election. David Perdue and I have called for him to step down because Georgians have lost faith in our elections here. We can't.
That's right, Georgians. If you've lost faith in the election, don't vote.
Have that. Not in America. That's not fair to Georgians who stood in line, who waited at the polls. We had problems all the way back at the primary. We had investigations going on. Now we've got more investigations. We need to get to the bottom of it and hold people accountable. I came out of the private sector. That's what we did in the private sector. When you made a mistake, you were held accountable.
Most of the people who can't spell they're Russians. These are bots. You couldn't grow up in this country, go through 12 grades, or let's just say 10 grades on the outside. You couldn't have gotten to high school in this country and not been told how to spell you are your, how not to use a contraction. You couldn't have done that in this country. You could not have there's 2 possibilities. Your English is your second language, which is fine, totally forgivable. I'm terrible at Spanish. Or you're an idiot. Those are the only 2 possibilities if you cannot spell your.
And that's what we're doing right now here in Georgia.
Do you have any concerns that Georgians will say, look what happened in the presidential election. I don't trust the system. My vote no longer matters. I'm not showing up. Doug Collins made this concern known about a week ago, saying Georgians are worried.
Doug Collins cost them the Senate seat. Doug Collins decided to enter the Senate race, and it became a 3-way race instead of a 2-way race. And that's why nobody got to 50%. So thanks, Doug Collins. But Doug Collins is a friend of the show, so she's going to hype up Doug Collins. Has anybody seen Trump live?
They saw what happened in the presidential election. They may not come out.
Well, Maria, I was with Congressman Collins yesterday. Really appreciate his endorsement and support of our work here in Georgia.
Really appreciate him screwing everything up.
He's helping me turn voters out. The president is helping us turn voters out. Look, David Perdue and I have had the president's back. Now the president has ours. He's sending a message to encourage Georgia's voters to turn out. We have to make sure our voices are heard. If we don't vote, we will not win. But if everyone turns out to vote, we will win this election. I'm confident we're going to show America and the world that Georgia is a red state.
So what about those?
Okay, but it just flipped blue. It's been trending that way for years now, and it finally flipped back that direction, first time since Clinton. There's nothing remarkable about it, really.
900,000 ballots. Staci.
Kevin, other Kevin, not me, Kevin. I'm not talking to myself right now. Kevin Hochman, if Trump killed it, then show us some evidence. We've been waiting in court for Rudy to show us some evidence. There's been none.
Abrams has an ad out right now, flipping it from a red state to a blue state, saying all hands matter. What are you going to do about those 900,000 mail-in ballots? Where did they come from?
From the state? People write to the state or register online and say, send me a mail-in ballot for the follow-up election, the special election in January, and then the state sends out those ballots? What kind of question is that? Does she honestly not know, or is she just being stupid? I want to show you guys something, because if you're in the regular media stream, the lamestream media, the right-wing media, especially the right-wing media. No one's showing you this. Rudy had the chance to argue that there was fraud in court. He's had several chances. This is Pennsylvania. This is a judge talking to Rudy saying, so should we do this the regular process or what? Like, how, you're not showing me anything here. They're not even using allegations in court. Okay, so what can you give? Is this a fraud case? What is this? This is Rudy, in his own voice, you'll hear here, arguing before a judge that there's no fraud.
Should I apply in this case?
On a motion to dismiss? Well, I mean, I think the normal one.
Are you arguing then that strict scrutiny should apply here?
No, the normal scrutiny should apply. If we had alleged fraud, yes, but this is not a fraud case.
This is not a fraud case. That right there from the president's own lawyer. It's fraud, fraud, fraud. It's 24 hours fraud outside the courtroom. As soon as they get to the courtroom where they can't lie or face sanction and or disbarment or time in prison, no mention. No, it's not fraud. It's a direct denial of fraud because there is no evidence of massive fraud. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Right. Well, that's what we're going to be looking into as we monitor.
Florida Husky, Rudy Giuliani just said no fraud. This is not a fraud case. Those are his words exactly. I'm sorry, but if you can't understand this is not a fraud case, you're an idiot. Please don't vote.
And verify these signatures because Staci Abrams herself has said that undocumented ballots should count. Folks that are not legal citizens of this country, we are not going to stand for that. And if there is fraud, we're going to hold them accountable. It's a felony, and we need to make sure people know that.
If there is fraud, because there's no fraud. They've done 2 recounts now.
Our campaign, we have dedicated the resources, and that's why we're raising our resources online at kellyforsenate.com to make sure people know we have the legal resources on the ground right now. We're going to be verifying, monitoring these ballot openings, and we're not going to stand for that.
All right, Senator, it's good to see you. We'll be watching. Thank you so much for being here. Senator Kelly Loeffler joining us.
See if they're talking to Trump yet.
Time.
Yep, here we go. Let's go back on Trump.
How can swing say we have to move?
Oh, yeah, he started a little while ago here.
Politically.
Good. Okay. We're going to
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to zoom through this.
Pennsylvania.
I have to be ready to play some tennis a little bit after 8 o'clock. So we'll do this. We'll get through it together. Enjoy.
Your team got a blow on.
Yeah, your team did get a blow. Oh wait, are we going back more? Oh no, okay. He started early. Good. Let's go back. Oh boy. Oh God, he called in right away, right after. So maybe he won't go the full hour. He usually does. Holy smokes! Right after the commercial break, even before the commercial break. So yeah, we're gonna go right into it. He started about 12 minutes in. Okay, so here we go with this. What I'm going to do for you guys is get rid of that on top. So now you got the full chat window. We got a lot of people chanting. We got people chanting in here. Lock her up. Let's go.
First of all, I have to start by saying the whole world is watching, and nobody can believe what they're saying. And Correct. You have leaders of countries that call me and say that's the most messed up election we've ever seen.
Many leaders of many countries have already called and said, congratulations, Joe. Good job, Joe Biden. I look forward to working with you. One leader who hasn't, Putin.
You start with these machines that have been suspect, not allowed to be used in Texas, the Dominion machines, where tremendous...
And the vote's been counted twice in Georgia. No one's disputing Texas.
Reports have been put out. We have affidavits from many people talking about what went on with machines. They had...
Okay, and we know those affidavits have no veracity whatsoever because they've recounted twice, and it matches up perfectly.
Glitches. You know what a glitch is? A glitch is supposed to be when a machine breaks down. Well, no, we had glitches where they moved thousands of votes from my account to
Michael, where's the General Flynn interview you're talking about? We'd love to watch it.
Biden's account, and these are glitches. So they're not glitches, they're theft. They're fraud, absolute fraud. And there were many of them, but obviously most of them tremendous amounts, got by without us catching. We got lucky to catch them. I think we caught 4 or 5 glitches of about 5,000 votes each, and different.
It was one glitch, and it wasn't a glitch from the computer. A human being fed the spreadsheet in incorrectly, and they realized it because they watch these things. That doesn't sound right, and they checked it, and the votes, 3,000 votes, went back to Trump, and that's fine. But he lost Michigan by what? 3 million?
States, and again, they're not glitches. That was fraud, and they got caught. But for the most part, they got away with it. And what happened, if you watched the election, I was called.
Well, then pay for a recount in Michigan, my friend.
By the biggest people saying, congratulations, political people. Congratulations, sir, you just won the election. It was 10 o'clock, and you looked at the numbers, and I'm sure you felt that way. This election was over, and then they did dumps. They call them dumps, big massive.
You call them dumps.
Dumps in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, and all over. If you take a look at, you just take a look at just about every state that we're talking about, every swing state that we're talking about. And they did these
They do massive dumps in every single state. When they finish counting ballots, they say, hey, we counted 147,000 ballots. Here you go. That's how elections work.
Massive dumps of votes. And all of a sudden, I went from winning by a lot to losing by a little. And in some cases, it took a period of time to do it. North Carolina, they couldn't do it. I won North Carolina. They
Congratulations.
Somehow they had a better.
Nobody's disputing that. Enjoy North Carolina, my friend.
Their system, but they couldn't do anything. I believe they tried. We have affidavits, but they couldn't do anything with the really a great place, North Carolina. We appreciate the incredible work they put in, and we won. But they did tens of thousands of.
We won, even though we've completely lost, but we won.
Tens of thousands of Biden votes. And all of a sudden, I went from, and I could tell you the people that were calling me, congratulating me, are people that you know very well, friends of your show.
Yeah, so the reason that the giant dumps are mostly in favor of Biden is because they come out of the cities, and cities are predominantly Democratic, because cities are where people live close to each other because they like other people. People who vote for Trump, they're predominantly in the rural areas where people live close to cows because they love having sex with cows. See? It's all very scientific.
They said it's over. I said, well, I hear bad things about the machines. I hear bad things about corruption. One of your great pollsters who actually got it right, you know the gentleman I'm talking about, he said, well, Trump is going to win Pennsylvania, but you have to allow at least 5% for cheating because they cheat.
Right.
And that's in Philadelphia and various areas around Philadelphia. They cheat, and they cheat like crazy. So we have him winning Pennsylvania, but you have to allow 5 points for cheating. This is a terrible thing.
Well, then that 5 points within the margin of cheating. So you lost.
Happened.
I mean, really, it's not hard to catch the cheating. It really isn't.
The mail-in ballots are a disaster. They sent millions and millions and millions of mail-in ballots. I'm sure you know people that got 2, 3, or 4, because I do, where they said, we got 4 ballots. They got one at a country home. Dead people were seeing ballots. But even worse, dead people were applying to get a ballot. They were making application to get ballots.
There is one case of that in Pennsylvania. That was from a Trump voter.
Many. And, we're not talking about 10 people. We're talking, there are a lot of dead people.
And yet, no evidence of that in court.
That so-called voted in this election. But dead people
that
were,
so-called voted?
In some cases, in many, many cases, thousands of cases, voted. But also...
And yet, no evidence.
So dead people made application to vote. They were...
But by the way, if you're a Secretary of State or you're working for a county board of elections, you don't want dead people voting, because then you're like, oh my God, zombies, right? So you check these things. When allegations are made, you check them. No one's come up with any actual dead people who voted. First off, dead people can't vote. They're lazy. They just lay around all day.
Had 10 years, 15 years, and they actually made application. This is...
Michael, we know that the Dominion machines worked fine because A, they've been audited, B, we've got paper. So you count the paper. Dominion, how many votes were there? 20,000. Paper, 20,000. We're good. That's how it works. You verify this stuff.
total fraud. And how the FBI and Department of Justice, I don't know, maybe they're involved.
I'm not wrong. Michael, if there was a dead person that actually voted, do you know how famous that dead person would be right now? It's ridiculous. If there were dead people who actually voted for Biden, Maria Bartiromo would be reading that list off right now. This entire hour would be the following people are dead, and it's nonsense. Most of the dead people turn out to be women voting for their dead husbands, except they're voting for themselves because they might call themselves Mrs. Donald Trump, because we used to do that. And older generations still do that. They still address themselves, or maybe they registered in the 1960s as Mrs. Donald Trump, in which case they got nothing in the settlement.
But how people are allowed to get away from this stuff with this stuff is unbelievable. This election was rigged. This election was a total fraud, and it continues to be as they hide. And
we should let him have his own election.
Problem we have, we go to judges, and people don't want to get involved. The media doesn't even want to cover it. I mean, you're doing
it's nothing but wall-to-wall media coverage. Turn on another channel right now. It'll be about the election or COVID. That's it. By the way, Trump said we were going to stop talking about COVID on the 4th of November. Again, I don't understand. How many times do people have to get lied to before they're like, wait a minute, you said this, but this other thing is happening? Well, wait, maybe you're not that bright.
Something. You're actually very
Here's the thing. If you don't understand that Trump is not that bright, I can just say something's not bright.
Brave, because you're doing something. The media doesn't want to talk about it. They know how fraudulent this is. It's no different than Hunter. It's no different than Hunter. They don't want to talk about Hunter. So they totally closed it off, big tech and the media, other than the New York Post.
So you lost the election by 6 million votes because Hunter Biden's laptop. Son of a gun. That's actually true. The judges say that's what happened. Hunter Biden's laptop is the reason that 6 million people more voted for president. Wow.
You remember, which took a lot of heat. It was terminated.
Yeah, it's worldwide coverage right now. Everyone's talking about the election. Everyone's talking about possible fraud. Everyone's talking about the court cases. Another one which was kicked out last night from Pennsylvania. And this one was the Republican senator, some of whom won, sued, saying that, hey, these mail-in ballots, they're all illegal. This never should have happened. Turns out it was passed. The law to allow the mail-in ballots, no excuse mail-in ballots, was passed last year by the Republican legislature. And they even, for some reason, put a clause in there saying that you had to object to this. You could only challenge it in the Supreme Court, and you had to do it within X number of days. And they let that expire. They're the ones who passed it. No one to blame but themselves.
Terminated from, I guess, Twitter, maybe Facebook. But it's a situation the likes of which we don't have freedom of the press in this country.
Yeah.
We have suppression by the press. They suppress. You know, you can't have a scandal if nobody reports.
That literally makes no sense whatsoever. The press prints what they want to print. That's what freedom of the press is.
About it. This is the greatest fraud in the history of our country from...
Michael, you can go to Dominion, just Google Dominion voting machines, go to their site, and there's a list of states and counties that use the machines. They're all over the place.
An electoral standpoint, and I guess you could build it up bigger than an electrical. What's bigger from an electoral standpoint? What's bigger than this? This is the essence of our country. This is the whole ball game, and they cheated. Joe Biden did not get 80 million votes.
He did.
Now we were planning. I got 63 million votes 4 years ago and won quite handily in the electoral college.
Marcy with the fact check. Fun fact, and this is fun. Ghosts have eye holes in their sheets so they can see to vote. Judges, that's true, and that was fun. Thank you, Marcy, for that fun.
Won quite handily. We did very well.
Won quite handily, but somehow lost by 6 million votes. By the way, I said before the election, 2 or 3 days before the election, I said Biden would win the popular vote by 4%. We just passed 4%. He might even win it by 5%, but I said more. I think I said more than 4%.
63. We were hoping to get 68 or so.
How was I right about that stuff? Because that's what it looked like was going to happen. And guess what happened? That.
And we felt that was a path to an easy victory. I got 74 million votes, the largest in the history of a sitting president. So much more, many millions more than anyone thought, than we were even trying to get. And everybody said, this is over. I'm telling you, at 10 o'clock, everybody thought it was over.
No.
And then the phony mail-in.
All of anybody who knows how anything works knew that it was not over because they had to count the ballots, the mail-in ballots. And in many states, they couldn't start counting the ballots, including Pennsylvania. They could not start, and Wisconsin. They couldn't start the ballots until the morning of the actual election, November 3rd. And so, of course, it took them a long time to count. And everybody knew it was good. There were going to be these giant dumps when they got done counting. In fact, in Milwaukee County, the director of elections in Milwaukee County said, well, we're going to start counting at 7 in the morning. By law, once you start counting, you can't stop. So we're going to go round the clock, and we'll probably report between 3 and 6 a.m. This is what he said before the election. And at about 3:30, yes, they reported, and there was a huge dump. Because that's legally how it works. That's literally how it's designed to work. There's nothing aberrational about this.
Started coming in, Maria. But just so you understand, I got 74 million votes. It was over. And then mail-in started happening. Glitches started happening. This election was rigged. This election is a total fraud.
Mr. President, these are obviously very serious charges, and I want to walk through them and ask you how you will prove this in the courts, because as you know, what I've been saying on the air is that elections are the reason that our young men and women go on battlefields across the world and in some cases lose their lives.
That's not, no. I didn't tell my nephew, hey, thanks for saving our elections when he got out of the Marine Corps. That's not how it works.
Because they believe that their vote, my vote, matters just as much as your vote. And if that...
Nab, it's provable. There are 80 million votes for Joe Biden. You can actually see and recount the votes. They've done multiple recounts now, and they've all confirmed exactly what happened on election night. If you want to pay for recounts yourself and to prove that they didn't, go ahead. But it's got nothing to do with watching TV. Watching TV doesn't affect a vote.
That is not true. This is a very serious turning point for America. So this is no longer about you, President Trump. This is about America.
It's completely about
and
Trump.
Many people agree with you. According to Reuters, 68% of Republicans and 28% of all Americans, that includes Democrats, believe there was fraud in this election. So let's go through.
So 28% of Americans, less than a third of Americans, but the people who voted for Trump, believe that there was fraud. And of course, there is some fraud. There's always some fraud. Was there massive fraud? Was there overwhelming fraud? Was there enough fraud to flip the election? No, of course not.
Some of the states, the 6 states that your team is challenging, what specific strategy does your legal team take going forward? Let's start with Pennsylvania. I know you said that you have...
By the way, they're having a Sidney Powell and friends are having a... No, it's... what's her face? Jenna Ellis, the president's lawyer, is... they're having a big news conference, but they're calling it a hearing with delegations from Arizona. They're having that tomorrow. We'll be covering that on the live stream. I forget what time it starts. I think 9 a.m. is what they said. It's probably going to start after that. So I think I'll make it going around 10. Greg, no, that's not the way it works. There's 50 states in our country, and they all have different laws. In Texas, you can count the mail-in absentee ballots before Election Day. In Florida, you can do it 3 to 6 weeks before you can count them as soon as they start coming in, and then they're kept on a server, it's kept secret, and it's only released on Election Day. But in many states, for example, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, you cannot start counting those ballots. You can't even open them up and separate the signatures from the ballots until the day of the election. And again, if you don't believe me, fact check me. Look it up yourself right now. And then come back, and we'll be waiting for you, and we'll continue on with the broadcast. Once you fact-check me a few times, theoretically, you can trust me. This is what I do. I know my stuff. And I've no motivation to lie. I don't affect that. The election's done. I mean, I'm not trying to protect my feelings by saying this is a fact. Go look it up, and that's why. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. If, for example, Wisconsin took till Friday when Texas was done on Tuesday, that would be very, very fishy. It's because of laws. This is a country of law and order. It's really very, very simple.
A pile of affidavits. That's part of the evidence. What other evidence can you talk about that will enable you to prove this in court in the coming weeks, sir?
Well,
guess what? He's not going to have an answer to this.
We're trying to put the evidence in, and the judges won't allow us to do it. We are trying. We have so much evidence.
That is not the way it works at all. It's complete nonsense. They're not even making allegations. Because they can't, because it's false. You can't lie to a judge. So they're getting these hearings.
You probably saw on Wednesday of last week, we had a hearing in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It was an incredible hearing, unbelievable witnesses.
This was at like a Wyndham Gardens hotel. Wyndham Gardens Four Seasons total landscaping hotel. It wasn't a hearing. It was just some people gathered in a little conference room in a hotel. There's nothing official about it.
Highly respected people that were truly aggrieved. A woman came in
Aggrieved?
And she wanted to vote. And they said, no, I'm sorry, you can't vote. You've already voted. Your ballot's in. She said, no, I want to vote on November 3rd. I've been waiting for so long to vote. I'm so proud. I want to vote. They said, your ballot's in. I'm sorry. And that was the story. And she was aggrieved. And you have many people like that, many, many people like that, at a level that nobody would even believe.
They presented one. And if that's true, then there's something wrong with that, and she should have been given a provisional ballot, and this would have all been sorted out. But they didn't say whether she got a provisional ballot or not. And her daughter was with her. It was a strange... So that was the one example of possible... And that's not voter fraud, by the way. It's a clerical error. But there was one example of like, well, that's not right. Everything else was absolutely fine. They were all allegations of, what if this happened?
And that's where it is, Maria. That's one story. By the way, that's one story out of so many different stories. The poll watchers, and this is true with all of the states just about that you're talking about. I think all of them, they weren't allowed to have poll watchers.
Not true.
The Democrats and thugs.
Not a single state did not allow poll watchers. It has not been proven in any case whatsoever. In Pennsylvania, there is the video of the one guy who tried to get into a polling station, and they're like, that's your little pass, it's not good here. So that was wrong, and the county looked at it and said, yeah, actually, no, that was wrong, and that guy shouldn't have done that. So one poll watcher in Pennsylvania was not allowed into one polling station, and then didn't try to go to any other polling stations.
Thugs. No, I'm not talking about saying, could you please move over? They threw him out of the counting rooms. They weren't allowed.
Oh, my God. Goldie just sent me $10. On Venmo or PayPal or something. So thank you, Goldie. You get 10 dings. 3's enough. Nobody wants to hear it. So thank you. I appreciate it, Goldie. Let's have social distance dinner soon.
To be in
there. By the way, Goldie, good friend of mine, wonderful human being. I can't go get together with Goldie right now because there's literally no gathering allowed in Los Angeles County as of tomorrow. Oh, let's do lunch today because COVID is so bad right now.
They threw them outside in many cases. You heard the story with the people, they went out and sent for binoculars because they wouldn't allow them to watch. And during that period of time, a lot of bad things happened. Then they closed, as you know, they closed up the voting. And then unexpectedly, they closed up all of the counting. Unexpectedly, new ballots came in. And it was all new numbers being added. we have pictures and we have evidence of new ballots being brought into counting rooms.
Yeah, they're talking about in Detroit, and they're saying, all these ballots were brought in, and we weren't allowed to be there. We weren't allowed to watch. And then someone said, well, how did you know that the ballots came in? Well, we were there.
There's never been anything like this in history. And it all started with the mail-in, but it also goes to Dominion. It goes to a lot of things. But the mail-in, millions and millions of ballots being shipped all over. And ballots, as you know, there were a lot of ballots where it was just Biden on top. They didn't do anything else because they were in a rush. And from what everybody is saying...
Just to fact check that, is Biden atop? He is. Trump's the bottom.
And from what, I don't think we even have to prove this, they say that I was doing so much better than they thought that they panicked and they started just doing ballot after ballot very quickly and just checking the Biden name on top. They didn't have time. See, you have all these ballots.
You do have to fact check that.
Ballots with just one name check. People don't.
By the way, you can fact check that. That could be fact checked, and it has been, but it didn't exist. And so, well, we'd be hearing about it. Look at all these ballots. It only had Joe Biden on them, and nothing below it filled out. Look at these. In Michigan, for example, 130,000 ballots, 140, whatever it would take to flip the election. Look at all these ballots that only have Biden. No.
Vote that way. People don't vote that way. They want to vote against taxes and they want to vote.
No, Dimitri, that's incorrect. I think what you're trying to say, that they should be allowed to see the signatures, that's not how Pennsylvania law works at all. Here's the thing, Dimitri. This is funny. Like, we have to be able to see the signatures in Pennsylvania. Dude, 38% of our states do not require the signatures to match for the vote to be accepted. One of those states is Pennsylvania. So even if there was no, I don't think, he didn't dot his I's. See that curl at the end of the K? That's not, I don't think that matches. All right, doesn't matter. More than a third of our states don't reject ballots based on signature. So the fact that you weren't close enough because of COVID, you had to be at least 6 feet back. The fact that you weren't close enough to see the ballots, it doesn't matter. Pennsylvania doesn't require a signature match. But oh yeah, let's flip the whole election. Let's destroy the will of the people because someone couldn't see a signature. That doesn't fucking matter. Wake up, dude.
Vote for judges, and they want to vote for a lot of other things that you have on a ballot, different races, including Congress, and they were just checked up top. Tremendous numbers of ballots like that, and that was done for the sake of speed. We have stories that are unbelievable, but we're not allowed to put in our proof.
Here you go. Speaking of proof, I'll prove it to you. There's an article from Political. You can find it yourself. Pennsylvania Supreme Court says ballots can't be rejected based on signature comparison. It's not how it works in Pennsylvania. That is the law. We are a nation of laws. If you want a lawless society, hell, go to Canada. They don't even have laws up there. Go across, once they let you in, because they won't because of COVID. But once the border opens up, head on up there and they'll give you some hookers and some marijuana. You can live up there. Just bring a parka. Especially if it's summer.
They say you don't have standing. I said I'd like to file to the lawyers. I would like to file one nice, big, beautiful lawsuit. Talking
a beautiful lawsuit. As long as it's beautiful.
About this and many other things with tremendous proof. We have affidavits. We have hundreds and hundreds of affidavits.
Affidavits are not proof. They're allegations.
People that you saw
they're part of evidence, yes, but it doesn't mean that they're proof.
Other day in Pennsylvania,
willing
to sign under penalty of perjury, you go to jail. Willing to sign, unlike Comey, who didn't go to jail for lying, by the way, and McCabe, who didn't go to jail for lying, which is an amazing thing to me. We might as well bring it up. But under perjury, you go to jail. We have hundreds, getting to be thousands. They're coming in all the time. And these are respected people.
Dean is correct. You don't actually get the hookers when you cross the border. They give you a free house, and they send the hookers to your house. So that is correct. Thank you, Dean, for the fact check.
These are people that are putting their lives at risk. and they don't want to take the affidavits. Then they say we don't have proof. I wanted to file one suit, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, against, and put everything into one simple suit.
Against whom? Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, V. I wish he'd said V. V would have been awesome. I would have lost it completely.
And they say, sir, you don't.
I would have had a big dump right here on camera.
Don't have standing. I say, I don't have.
Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, V. Everyone. I don't know why I find that hilarious. Is anybody else? Anybody else? If he had said V. Oh.
Standing. You mean as President of the United States?
Yeah.
I don't have standing. What kind of a court system is this?
The American judicial system? Is that a trick question?
And the judges stay away from it. There is out there, Maria, because everyone knows you gave numbers. I had a number, 79%. It just came out. 79% of the Republicans think the election was a fraud. And I hear...
And since Republicans are 23% of the nation...
35, 40% of the Democrats, but they're not going to put it down anyway because they're not going to say we think it.
Put it
but
down.
I think most of them think it was a fraud.
Put it down.
I watched you with Kelly. Look at
the
election. Look at the election you have coming up right now.
She just showed him the stats that it's 28% of the overall population. She just showed him those stats.
You're using.
But they're not going to put it down. Someone needs to be put down.
The same garbage machinery, Dominion.
Hold on, the FBI's here. No, it's the Secret Service. I'll be right back.
And she's going around, Abrams. She's going around screaming that she's got 800 or 850,000 ballots.
Yeah.
What kind of an election is this? She's going around collecting votes.
She's not.
What kind of an election is this? What kind of a country are we living in now where you can vote for months ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
And then the other thing we have in
That's early voting. That's allowed.
Justice Alito, highly respected, a great man.
Yeah.
Justice Alito seems to have big problems, but the election ended, and they gave people an extension to vote. That's never happened before. In other words, the election ended, but we'll give you more time if you want to vote.
No, they didn't give them more time to vote. They gave time for the ballots to arrive because Trump sabotaged the mail.
And what I understand is they didn't think it was good either. So they backdated all these ballots that came in. They had people, and we have affidavits on that too. They had people
They don't have any actual evidence.
Dating ballots, so that if somebody came in the 4th or 5th or 6th, which was illegal because the legislature didn't approve it, which everything has to be approved by the legislature, and they had judges making deals, and they had electoral officials making deals, like this character in Georgia who's a disaster, and the governor's done nothing. He's done.
The Republican in Georgia who donated to Trump and voted for Trump twice, his whole family, and now has to have armed protection because Trumpers are threatening his family.
Absolutely nothing. I'm ashamed that I endorsed him. But I look at what's
Trump did endorse him.
Going on. It's so terrible. But what happened in this election, Maria, I can't imagine has ever happened before. They stuffed the ballot boxes. You know, I've been hearing that expression for many years. You have to stuffed the ballot. They stuffed the ballot boxes.
The ballot box.
And they used COVID as a means to stuff the ballot boxes. Joe Biden did not get 16 million more votes than Barack Hussein Obama. He didn't get it.
He did.
Joe Biden did.
We're 8 years later. The population's gone up. The turnout was fantastic, especially with Trump telling everyone to make sure they vote.
Did not get 14 million more votes than Hillary Clinton. And by the way, he didn't beat Obama.
No, that makes perfect sense. I voted for Biden 187 times. So just myself and then 8 other people. That's 15 million right there. I mean, it's just math. It's just basic math. It all adds up. Judges agree. It adds up.
Obama in the black communities. You go to some of these communities where Obama is very, very popular.
Uh-huh.
And he beats them in some of these communities. But all throughout the rest of the United States, in a black community, he does actually poorly. He doesn't do very well.
That is actually almost factually accurate. But he kicked ass in the suburbs. That's where the election was won for Biden, the suburbs. The suburban women's, you know, the housewives, Joanna, now that Joanna's here, we're gonna end the broadcast. I'm assuming that's producer Joanna. Welcome, Joanna. We're gonna end the broadcast. I gotta go play some tennis. Sorry. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna come back once I'm done sweating. I'll take a quick shower and then we'll start the broadcast again, everyone. So the way to follow that is just keep refreshing Twitter and see when I start again, which is a waste of your time. It is, judges. But go to youtube.com/KevinLeeFather. Subscribe to me there. Oh, hey, you know what? I'll show you how. I'll show you how to do that. Give me a second here and I'll pull up a web page. So if you go to... Here, I'll pull it up big so we can see. Okay, so just go to the Googles. Over here, youtube.com. There's us right there. Hold on, I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I got 3 different screens I'm working with here. Let's say this guy right here. So if we go to Craig and Jeff, whatever this is right here, you find the actual... I have to be over here. You find... Okay, so there, you see this little subscribe button here? Hit that subscribe button, okay? And then the little bell beside it, hit that bell and say all. And then you'll get notifications in your email, or you could do the same thing on your phone. And on your phone, you got to make sure that the notifications are turned on for... ask your kid. They'll tell you how to do the whole thing. But anyway, I have a previous engagement to go play some netsing. Sorry for you Americans, tennis. And we're going to do that, and then we're going to come back. I'm just going to leave everything just as it is. We'll come back, and we'll watch ourselves some Petty Dent Trump. And then we'll continue on with the fact-checking. And we've got a lot. It's 26 minutes right now. So we got a whole other section to do today, and we'll do that when I get back. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be back later today. Probably about 2 hours or so, I'm guessing. Should I set a time? No, I'm just not going to do that because something else will come up. My car will explode. So, guys, take care of yourself. I'm just going to stop the broadcast in a second here. I appreciate everyone. Thank you to everyone who did a super chat. I saw Dr. Howard. I saw Yoshi do that. Thank you, Goldie, so much for the 10 smackers. If you enjoyed the broadcast, send me something at PayPal or Venmo or KevinLeeFather.com. Even more importantly, join us again in a couple of hours, and we'll start this whole thing again. Again, go to YouTube, subscribe, youtube.com/KevinLeeFather. Subscribe there. Hit the little bell so that you get notifications. And when we start again, you can join us. And remember, tomorrow we'll also be covering the Arizona crazy hearing with Jenna Ellis and Rudy Giuliani. I don't know who else is going to show up. It's going to be fun, one way or the other. And we will release our own personal Krakens. Enjoy your morning, folks. We'll see you a little later. This is a great way to wrap up. We'll see you later.